this morning, from a zoning request for a new junior high to short-term rentals, Fayetteville City Council is preparing for a busy night.
5 News reporter Jacob Luthi is live in Fayetteville to break it all down. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Joe. Yeah, we know that these meetings can be lengthy. 2 weeks ago, when we were talking about the rezoning request for a potential new Ramey Junior High School right off College Avenue here in Fayetteville, public comment went on for around 2.5 hours, dozens of people giving their input both for and against. So we know that these meetings can be lengthy, and there's also two, as you had just mentioned, really important items on the agenda, the short-term rentals as well as that rezoning request, and that is where we're going to start. Now, this is land right off College Avenue. It is land that the district has already purchased for a potential new Ramey Junior High School, and they say that this is the best site for that. Superintendent Dr. John Mulford says the site is a strategic move to keep schools close to families, balanced across the entire district, and aligned with Fayetteville's growth plan. Some groups, like the Fayetteville Natural Heritage Association, say they are against the rezoning request, not just because of the tree preservation, trying to preserve the land that's there, but call the site too costly and too risky to build on. They point to the steep hillside, erosion concerns, and heavy traffic near existing schools. Dr. Mulford, though, says that they've taken these concerns seriously, but say that the site is what's best for the district as it looks towards the future.
Our board has been very thoughtful in where they place the schools to where it not only meets our current needs, but we expect it will meet the needs for the future.
Now, also tonight, the Fayetteville City Council will vote, or expected to vote, on a new ordinance that would permanently legalize and regulate short-term rentals, replacing the temporary rules that have been in place since 2021. The proposal would repeal 6 earlier ordinances and establish updated definitions, zoning standards, and permit requirements for Airbnb-style properties. It also caps non-owner occupied type 2 rentals at 475 units. Those are those Airbnb type residences that we've been talking about citywide, and requires conditional use permits to limit overconcentration in neighborhoods, which supporters say will damage neighborhood character. If approved, the ordinance would take effect immediately to prevent any gap in the city's short-term rental regulations. Now, the city council meeting is expected to get started at 5:30 tonight. Again, right, they are expected to vote on these things. They can choose to table them. They can choose to leave them on their reading and save it for the next meeting. We'll wait and see what happens tonight. But for now, we're live in Fayetteville, covering news where you live. Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
All right, thanks for that, Jacob. Well, today, Arkansans have a chance to weigh in on proposed rules for the state school voucher and adult diploma programs.
2 public meetings will take place in Little Rock at the Arkansas Department of Education Auditorium. Changes to the voucher program include limits on spending for extracurricular activities, clarifying eligible expenses, and setting a fixed application window. Adults pursuing a diploma can comment on updates to milestone definitions and payments. The public comment period ends on December 16th. Those who can't afford can submit feedback online.
Well, new this morning, an 18-year-old accused of killing a teen in Rogers won't face trial until next year. Alejandro Zenon Reyes, who was 14 at the time, is accused of shooting and killing 17-year-old Alexis Wynn in April of 2022. Investigators say he fled to Mexico after the shooting, but was captured in 2025 in January. Prosecutors charged him with manslaughter and evidence tampering, and he has pleaded not guilty. Now, his trial, originally scheduled for December 2nd, has now been pushed back to February 24th.
Well, the man accused of murdering a healthcare executive on a Manhattan sidewalk was back in court this week, nearly 1 year after the attack.
Yeah, the lawyers for Luigi Mangione are arguing that some evidence should be excluded from the trial. Bradley Blackburn has more.
Photos from inside a New York City courtroom show Luigi Mangione unshackled and dressed in a jacket, speaking to his legal team in a hearing Monday. The 27-year-old's attorneys are asking the court to suppress evidence collected during his arrest in connection with the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, a 50-year-old father of 2. Mangione is accused of stalking him and shooting him 3 times from behind using a pistol equipped with a silencer outside of a Manhattan hotel. After a manhunt, police found Mangione in a Pennsylvania McDonald's, but the defense claims their client's bag was searched without a warrant and that he was not read his Miranda rights before police questioned him. Inside the backpack, a notebook with handwritten pages that allegedly expressed disdain for the healthcare system. The prosecution claims one note says, "I finally feel confident about what I will do. The details are coming together." A key moment in court Monday was the playing of the 911 call when a McDonald's manager reported customers were suspicious of a man there and concerned that he was the New York CEO shooter. Mangione has pleaded not guilty. His supporters dressed in green inside and outside the courtroom. He has raised more than $1 million for his legal defense fund.
I think the case became very political in its early beginnings, and I think that raised a lot of red flags for people like me and others.
The hearing could continue for a few days. No trial date has yet been set. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Well, Mangione is expected back in court today. If he's eventually convicted, he could face life in prison. Mangione also facing separate federal charges that could carry the death penalty. Senator Tom Cotton, is calling for a federal crackdown on the online retail giants Temu and Shein, accusing both companies of what he calls communist-backed criminal behavior. In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi, the Republican senator says that both companies are storing large inventories on U.S. soil, making it easier for federal agents to investigate. He points to a recent review that found nearly half of test purchases from the platforms were counterfeit. Now, 5 News has reached out to both companies for comment and did not immediately hear back.